sky. Hold on to your breath, hold on to your heart, hold on to your home. March up to the gate and bid it open.
Hello, Ron Suchiu here again. This is, you're back at my studio here, and we're going to get to the end of this painting. This is a world first. This is a synergy art piece with celebrity Dan Aykroyd and myself. And what it is I actually took and painted a background in his favorite color and allowed him about 15 minutes to kind of do some stuff on the canvas with some black paint, and it started like a spark towards this painting, and it's turned out really excellent. The very first one, and it's proven to be everything I wished it would be. And as we went along, I'm not painting the painting myself. I'm actually letting the shapes and the brush marks show me the character of the painting, the spirit that's coming out in it. And Dan Aykroyd had mentioned a few things when we were at his house there. He mentioned about painting these orbs, and actually he put this little alien symbol down below, which I don't know what it is, but it seemed to take us along into a painting that really has some spirit to it. The orbs being magical, and this one here is, to me, like almost like a planet turned inside out. It has the atmosphere inside instead of the outside. And there right now I'm putting a little bit of a glow from that planet down on the alien's head. And if you haven't seen the earlier videos, you'll see the alien when we get at the end of this. Anyway, we're going to move really quickly through the first half of this video. I'll do the 3 orbs, and this is actually a hot one. I'm going to apologize right now. I do my own video work, and I ended up, for the very first time, putting my palette to my left-hand side, and when you see my head go by, it's me reaching for my palette, which I apologize for, but it's only going to be a few seconds. But it shows this hot planet being done. It's not actually a molten planet, but it's a very small hot planet, and the painting has actually turned out to be not only space but time, and somehow, we call it synergy painting number 1, and it's actually the synergy of time and space somehow blending itself, and you find yourself in different spots and different emotions, and everything else is mixing in together here. Now, I've done a green planet here because Dan's favorite color is green, but I also thought it's kind of nice to have a green planet because that would be something that could possibly have life, right? Anyway, as we go through here, the last part of it is going to be, Dan Aykroyd has the Crystal Head vodka, and when I was going through this piece, I actually, on the right-hand side up beside that bright blue orb that's on the right-hand side there's a skull that showed up in the brushwork. Well, actually, I'm going to jump to this part too. In an earlier video, I showed you that I did part of that stained glass, but I didn't want to go over top the planet because the planet was a bit wet. That's planet Earth there. And it's really a wonderful effect to actually do a glazing over top of your actual painting, and that really is just like a window glazing. You're actually putting the color, the stained glass, over top of the actual objects in the background, and it becomes a really effective feature for the painting. Now, this little piece here, Dan did a little, what I thought was maybe a broken orb or a shard of glass or whatever, but in time it looked to me more like a spaceship. So I thought, well, you know what, Dan and I were born around the same time, and we would have watched things like Flash Gordon and all of those kind of cool things. They were really Art Deco-y looking spaceships and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do one almost cartoony or like a toy. And it's shaped a bit like the bird that you see. The bird that I put in here is a bird that can actually travel through time and space. So there's your little spaceship there. And that was actually just a fun piece to put in there. I really enjoyed it. It's Now I'm going to get down to again beside that orb. You're going to see that all of the planets are done right now. Even the hot planet there has a little moon circling around it now. And the stories in here, they're up to you to make the stories up. I don't really know what this is all about. So now with this crystal head vodka, I sketched this in for you from a sketch that I did, and my problem was I keep on forgetting to put the video camera on, so once in a while I jump ahead a bit for you. But anyway, the crystal skull on this one is going to be one of the toughest pieces of painting I've done in my entire life. Actually, there's three things that happen. The crystal has got to be, you got to see through it. This one is actually a very special bottle that Dan produced, or his company produced, called Aurora, which is a crystal looking skull, but it actually has a beautiful finish on it. The finish is almost like, when you have the colors of when oil is on water, you get all those beautiful gold and bronze colors and purple colors and blues and stuff. And they actually produced a limited edition bottle that is called Aurora, and it had those colors in it. And I just thought, boy, I don't know if I can accomplish this, but I took it on to see if I could actually make that Aurora bottle, the finish of the Aurora bottle, be on my crystal skull in here. And it did work out pretty good. So you also have, when you're doing something like this, I try to put some crystal pictures in front of me so that I can judge how is light refracting from the background, from the sides and everything else. So you're getting reflection from the front and sides, and you're actually getting refracted light that's coming down through. And you see his cheekbone there is actually the main window. That red in the back window is actually allowing itself to show through the cheekbone here. And then his the skull is actually communicating with that blue orb. Orbs are, again, very spiritual or mystical, and they do have magic. They have magical powers. So this one, the skull is actually, like I said, communicating with it. What is the story? I don't know, and that again is up to you, and maybe even Dan. I mean, when we did this painting, it was in his room at his house in Kingston. And it's an ancient farmhouse, and this is the place, actually, we started the painting on the same table that Dan wrote Ghostbusters on. And right next to that room, there's a seance room. And when you look at this painting, the spirits that are popping out of the painting just make me feel like I'm back there. I could actually see, in the greens and that, I can actually smell the smoke. He had a beautiful fire going for us all the time. So here's the details. I don't know if I could ever teach somebody to do this. I think there's quite a complexity to this, and it's not something where you just pick up a brush and all of a sudden you can actually calculate the amount of complexity that's going on in this piece. It is a clear piece, but it's not really clear. It's I wanted it to look like a dark crystal, but I didn't really want it to be too dark so that it's not showing through. And I think I've achieved a pretty good outcome of this. At the end of it, the main thing was the glossiness. To see it absolutely buffed and glossy, it gives that real incredible 3D effect. Whenever you do something that's really shiny, by the way, any artist people out there, if you have a fuzzy line, the shine's not strong. So if you did chrome or whatever, you want to do a real sharp line, like up where you see the window frame on the skull's head at the top there. It might be wavy a little bit because the actual skull is wavy, but at the same time, the line has got to be very crisp. Yeah. Colleen was asking me how I was doing all of this, and I can't even describe it to you. I don't really understand how I was getting it to happen myself, but I was looking at it and kind of just trying to figure out where would the light come from on the next little brush mark. And I do want a lot of colors. So you even have a mauve in the background of the skull that is reflecting from something that's off the image. It's off to the right where my brush was just now. So anyway, we're only going to do 100. There's going to be 30 paintings in a row with very famous people. And each one of these, this one being the very first, again, synergy synergy art piece with a celebrity in the world. And then the next 30, we're going to produce only 100 pieces of each. And they will become a very this will become a very historic series. There's Dan's signature. He signed the painting, and now what I'm going to do with each one of these, I'm going to have the celebrity's name. I'm doing it backwards just for fun. And then Suchiu, and you'll see me put S1. So that's the title of the painting, Suchiu S1. It's a Dan Aykroyd Suchiu synergy piece. So anyway, hopefully you get one of these for yourself, and we are going to offer part of this to charity, and that's through Dan Aykroyd. So just come back and see us, and I hope you enjoy this one, and get in touch with us if you want one. Don't miss out. This is a really historic piece.
Easy, Skippy.